Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. I want to share with you some stuff. We're going to be at the I-70 Showdown, April 20th, that is Saturday. We'll be out there at the Warrenton Athletic Complex. Got some great stuff. Got 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U, and 14U out. The 14U has got a great schedule. First time we're going to get a look at the Columbia Aces and Mexico Rookies. We met both of these clubs at the Winter Workout Tour at the Columbia Game 7 meet and greet event, which we're excited to see these teams play. We got Midland, Culberson's Navy group there, Midwest Futures, Coach Rowe, Midwest Rebels, Feisey, Missouri Bombers, Missouri Gators, and the Mo Redhawks. Good solid group, 8 teams. We're looking forward to that coming up there. The one thing about the Columbia Aces team here is they are a 13U AAA squad, jumping up in competition. I like that. A little challenge early in the season. So we're looking forward to the I-70 Showdown next week out at Ozzy's in Edwardsville. They got the 42 Classic. Hope everybody enjoys that. But we'll see you in a couple weeks, folks. We had a great time out at the event this past weekend. We'll have some new stuff. Stay tuned. We'll be sharing out what's coming up. We appreciate everybody being part of what we do here with Game 7 Baseball. Game7Baseball.com. Today on the show, it's unfortunate we had some technical difficulties. We'll have Kevin on probably in a couple weeks. He's going to be in Columbia this week. We'll probably have him next week going over the Columbia tournament there. But today we're going to talk about the rankings again, updates. We're going to talk about some of the games that we saw, get a little recap on the GAC Game of the Week, which yesterday was huge. Really enjoyed that. We got to see Richie Swain, who was lights out for 6 innings. Richie faced 1 over the minimum through 6. It was just dealing 8 Ks on the day, walked 1 in the 6th, and that was the only one. Through 5, it was a perfect no-hitter, perfect game. So, but which is impressive in and of itself. But the Spartans kept scratching, putting the ball in play, put pressure on. An infield single, an error, another single, and they just kept rolling from there. And Central came all the way back with Tucker Thompson, the shortstop, the senior shortstop. Line drive single to left, scored the winning run. Braden Jones, who had come in the 5th inning, pitched all the way through, got the win. And so that is, and Braden Jones kept throwing ground balls. They got the 5-4-3 double play in the 7th. Go watch the game. It was really entertaining. It's great stuff there. A lot of fun out there. The GAC Game of the Week. Francis Howell Central over the Timberland Wolves 4-3. We'll be out next week at the GAC Classic on Tuesday and Wednesday at Carshield Field. We're going to be live streaming. So if you're at work, you can still watch the games. That's what's cool about this. We're going to start the 2 o'clock game. Then there's the 4:30 game and the nightcap at 7. We're going to be out there all day. It's going to be a marathon of baseball. We're looking forward to it out at Carshield Field with the GAC Classic. We'll start on Tuesday with the GAC North, Wednesday with the GAC Central, and then the following Tuesday, I believe it's the 23rd, we'll have the GAC South. So looking forward to that, folks. So make sure you mark your calendars. Let's get into this here a little bit. I want to start, go to Misha's rankings from PBR. Kevin this is out on Monday. They still got Staley at number 1, Fort Zumwalt West at 2, Francis Howell 3, Blue Springs at 4, Lee Summit West, who got swept in a 3-game set by Blue Springs South this past week. Then comes Liberty North, Jackson, Eureka. The first Class 5 team is number 9, Willard, followed by number 10, Fort Zumwalt South. Those are the first 2 Class 5. And then Nixa, Parkway South, Webb City is Class 5, Rockbridge, and then Lindbergh is their top 15 there. So looking at the Class 6 for Youth Baseball Midwest, you can go to our website, youthbaseballmidwest.com. Our top 10 is there. We have Staley at the top. I put Jackson. I bumped Jackson up. I thought they had some impressive wins. I put them in the number 2 hole. I'm that kind of guy. I might flirt and flutter a little more than some of the other people. I think it's interesting. They had a good win against, Fort Zumwalt South or Fort Zumwalt West, who we had in the 2 spot. I personally, this is my personal, it's nothing against how other people rank, but you beat a team that's ahead of you in the rankings. I always thought that was interesting. You'd beat a team and you'd move up a couple and that team was up. They'd drop, but you were still below them in the rankings. So evidently your win against that team in the rankings. Now I understand an upset, somebody down here, that isn't even in the rankings, and somebody's like the number 2 team. You don't automatically throw that. But these teams are close in the rankings. So that's just my thought process. That's why I got Jackson at number 2 this week. We'll see what happens. They're playing good baseball. Jackson is 10-3, while Staley is 9-3. Zumwalt West 12-4. Zumwalt West lost a few games this past week. Francis Howell at number 4, Liberty at number 5, Liberty North, at number 5. And I got Rockbridge, who moved up a few spots into the number 6 hole. They had some big wins this past week, followed by Nixa in the 7, Eureka, Blue Springs, and Lindbergh in the top 10 here of our rankings. If you want a complete full ranking, please go to our website, sign up for the YBM report. It comes right to your email. I do some writing. I write about the whole top 10 or top 20 rankings. We have our GAC recap. We have some information there, and we're going to work to grow that. So if you want to stay up with the GAC, you can go to our website right now. The blog is up for the GAC Week in Review. Go check that out. So that's where we're at with with Class 5, and I want to look at this. I should have started with Class 4 because we went to Class 6 first. I did. I messed myself up. I want to go to Class 4, and we'll come back to the Class 6. Week 5, I have not a lot of changes here except 2. Logan Rogersville still top, Blair Oaks, Southern Boone, Father Tolton. Same 4 as last week. 2 newcomers in the 5 hole is Benton, who finished off a big week last week and they are 11-1. And then we have Knob Noster. We had them in the 10 hole. They keep winning. Knob Noster is getting some wins. 10-1. They're in the 6th spot, followed by Fulton at 6-4, Summit Christian at 9-4, Central Park Hill 6-3, Nevada jumped up 8-2, and so that's our Central Park Hills. Nevada was right there at the 11. Central Park Hills is our number 10 squad right there. So a lot of there's only 2 that moved in this right here, all the way down to the top 10, and that's Benton and Knob Noster. These 2 teams have put together some wins from this past week that I think are impressive, and
so this area back here is basically production. They do a lot of the artwork back here. They do the production. So any of that stuff that comes in off of, we'll say, our fanware stores, stuff that comes in off the team stores, a lot of the coaches wear, a lot of the last minute, hey, we got to have it in the next 10 minutes stuff. That's all comes back here. This area is where all the day-to-day stuff that comes in really goes through. The retail store is its own little entity. This is where the real work is done.
So Knob Noster put together these wins last week against Lafayette County, who is 6-4. They've beaten Carrollton at 7-4, Holden 6-5. Their only loss is to Pleasant Hill, who's got a winning record 3-1. So they're still winning. They've got some games coming up. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to play. The other squad, Benton. They are, let me get them here up on the, sometimes it's hard because there's so many here, you can't remember where all of the, where they are in what district, and I didn't make a note of it. So that's my fault, folks. So bear with me a second here. Benton, there it is, District 16. Now, Benton had a good week. They beat Ozark, Class 6 school, 1-0. Hillcrest, Class 6 school. Parkview, Class 6 school. They won at Chillicothe, who is 8-4. They lost at Chillicothe, who is 8-4. That's a loss this week. That was on Monday. So they got Savannah coming up. Supposed to be played today. We'll see with all the rain. 10-2. So, but they've had some really good wins. I mean, that one against Ozark, that's a good win against a very good Class 6 team. St. Pius X in Kansas City, they beat them 9-2. So I really like, I think this Benton team is winning ball games. So there you go. And so that's why they're up. Knob Noster is up. Josh Hagel, I know, is playing out there. I don't know too many other players. I'm going to try and reach out to the coach at Knob Noster and see if we can have a chat and see what we find out from the folks over at Knob Noster, okay? So that's where we're at with Class 4. And you look at the PBR small school rankings for this week. They got 10. Of course, Logan Rogersville at the top. They have Father Tolton, Blair Oaks. There's the other one that I really should be putting into it, but they're not Class 4, so we haven't talked about it. But Valley Catholic, who is a Class 3 school, I believe, they're 12-0. This team has beaten some big teams here. At number 5, of course, Southern Boone. Then another, I believe, Class 3 school, Lone Jack, 13-0. Licking, the defending state champs in Class 3, 8-1. Duchesne keeps rolling here in St. Charles County, 10-3. St. Pius X in Kansas City, they're 6-4, and then Scott City. There you go. I got to find out if that's a Class 3. It might be a Class 3, 13-1. Forsyth, Seneca, Summit Christian, MICDS, Benton, Knob Noster, they're on deck for Prep Baseball Report. Now, I will tell you, I don't go looking to see where the PBR guys have teams ranked. I'm looking, this is my own research. These are things on my side. Those are my thoughts to this. So there is some differences, but you can see that they're looking at a lot of the same things I'm looking at because these are the teams that are there. Now with the small school rankings, they're adding Class 3, Class 2. They're looking at a lot here. So there you go. So let's move to the Class 5 rankings here for Youth Baseball Midwest. Not a lot changing. The teams that are here, Willard, Kearney, Fort Zumwalt South, Webb City, Summit, that's Rockwood Summit, St. Francis Borgia, Fort Zumwalt East, West Plains, and then coming in at number 10, Festus. I do want to mention, because I have them right there on the cusp of the top 10, is Union High School. I want to bring up Union High School because, man, they are playing some really good baseball. I got to get to the Class 5 here. Give me just 1 second. This team, man, I think they're in that District 5 with Capital City, who's playing well, Elias Catholic, St. Francis Borgia. Those 4 teams, Jeff City, they're not bad either, but this Union team is going to make some noise. They've lost 1 game to St. Francis Borgia 5-4, okay? Everybody else, they've beat a good Sullivan squad that is 7-3. North Point they've beaten. They've got wins against Sullivan again. Capital City, they beat Capital City, who's 9-5. They beat Elias Catholic, and their only 2 losses are to St. Francis Borgia and Father Tolton, and they lost to Father Tolton in 10 innings. So I really like this Union squad. I think it's going to be interesting to see how well they progress. They're at number 11, but again, you want to keep up to date with all these things, please go and subscribe. Appreciate that. All right, rankings here. We're going to keep moving on. As you can see, they, with PBR, they mix the large and small school. Willard, they don't have Kearney. They have Willard, Fort Zumwalt South, and Webb City in there. And Webb City, my friends, is really a good baseball team. We're going to look at this because Webb City was one of our games to watch yesterday when we were at the GAC Game of the Week. Webb City beat Branson 6-0 in that game, and I think that is a big win. Branson was playing well. They had won. Looks like Branson had went to Oklahoma and won 2 out of 3. They were on a pretty good win streak, beating Catholic. Branson had beat Nixa 4-2. They beat Summit Christian Academy, who's 10-4. They beat Lebanon, who's 13-4, and they ran into Webb City and lost 6-0. So they were on a pretty good roll there for this squad. That was a game to watch. Congrats to Webb City. That's a team that's really good. They are 11-3 on the season. They've got big wins against against Branson here. They had wins against Rockbridge early in the season. Marquette, they beat Belton, Lee Summit North. They lost to Kearney, and that's why I kind of had Kearney a little bit ahead of them. Kearney has had some losses, but most of their losses are against all Class 6 schools. So I think it's very interesting, again, what we're going to see. Kearney beat Grandview on Monday 13-1. They're scheduled to play Park Hill South today. We'll see how that, again, the rain plays out here. And then they got the St. Joe Benton tournament, Blue Springs, Park Hill South, Excelsior Springs. It'll be interesting to see how they come out of that. So Class 5, pretty much the same there. I do want to mention in the small schools, MICDS is now 7-2 after kind of a slow start. It'll be interesting in the Class 4. And St. Charles West had a nice win over North Point in opener in the GAC yesterday, 3-1. So they're back on the winning track, closing out 4 there. Yesterday in the GAC, Liberty beat Fort Zumwalt East, which we have Fort Zumwalt East at number 7 in the rankings. Liberty, Wentzville, nice win there at East, 4-3. So there you go, folks. When you start looking at those things, you go, ooh, that's a Warrenton is still rolling in Class 5. GAC North, they are 11-2, beating St. Charles 10-1 yesterday. They had lost to East, but have beaten Wright City. They are right now 5-0 in the GAC North, but Warrenton is rolling in Class 5. We'll see how they continue to go. And Zumwalt South, winners as well. We're going to take a look here and see. Nope, that was it. Okay. West Plains, another winner. They stay unbeaten in Class 5. So they're still in our top 20. And we're going to move to Class 6. We had some games to watch yesterday that we had sent out. Some big games. Eureka over Lindbergh. Eureka beat Lindbergh. That was one to watch. It was a close ball game as I thought it would be. 6-5, Eureka comes out on top. In a battle of two Class 5 heavyweights, St. Dominic right over here in O'Fallon beat St. Francis Borgia 9-6. That's a good win for the Crusaders right there, folks. Webster Groves, Class 5 school, beating Parkway 4-2 in 9 innings. I thought that's a tremendous win for Webster Groves. And then, of course, we had Webb City. And then our other one to watch, Ozark had been on a pretty good win streak. These are two Class 6 schools. They were moving up a little bit. They'd gotten some good wins. Ozark is in, District 6 with Nixa, Glendale. They're 8-6, and they had just beat Rockbridge, Fort Zumwalt West, and Jackson. Ozark had just done that, and then they go home and play Nixa and lose 2-0. So again, it's any given day. These teams are so close, guys, so close in talent level, which that's what I mean. So that Nixa takes them 2-1. Those were some games to watch. We talked about our top 10 there already in the rankings for Class 6. Staley, Jackson, West, Francis Howell, Liberty North, Rockbridge, Nixa, Eureka, Blue Springs, Lindbergh. Lindbergh kind of sits outside. They're at number 11, but Blue Springs finishes out our top 10. Eureka with a big win. Nixa with another good win. Rockbridge staying in there. Liberty North, Francis Howell. Everybody just keeps winning. And they'll play each other. They beat each other up a little bit. That's just kind of the way it goes. Let's look at Rockbridge's week from this past. They had lost, we said, to Ozark, but then they beat Nixa twice. They beat Springfield Catholic, Jeff City, and they just beat Capital City 9-5, a good Class 5 school. So Rockbridge, that was yesterday that they did that. Rockbridge on a big time win streak there. And you look in the middle of that, Blue Springs South, who had just come off a sweep of Lee Summit West in conference play, loses to Lee Summit North 3-2. And then they're supposed to play Raymore Peculiar in a 3-game set starting today through Friday. So that'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. But the loss to Lee Summit North, they kind of bounce back and forth between that with an 8-8 record. Another one to watch here, Blue Springs. It's in our top 10. They're number 10 right now. They've had a couple of losses. They took 2 out of 3 from Raymore Peculiar, Ray Peck, and then lost to Staley on Monday, 6-1. Staley again, 10-3 now, number 1 in our polls. Glendale, some of this southwest part of the state, they've won, looks like 5 in a row, beating Webb City in that. That was their big win in that. Oak Park, 2 good wins there for Glendale. But our top 10 keeps rolling along. And like I said, Fort Zumwalt West had a tough week this past week. After beating Troy Buchanan in a walk-off and then going to their place and beating them 6-2, they lost to Jackson and Ozark. They won yesterday in GAC play 6-1 over Howell North. So getting themselves back in there, they're going to be just fine, I believe. Francis Howell in the top 10. They had a loss to Timberland, come back and beat them. They lost to Edwardsville and then beat Seckman, which is a real good win in 9 innings. And then beating Troy Buchanan at their house 4-3 in GAC play. We'll see if the rain holds off to get the game in today. The one team I do want to say, I want to give out a big shout out here to Howell Central. This is a young team, Francis Howell Central. Coach Beckman, we got a chance to talk to them. They're 7-7-1. But over the last 5 games, they are 5-1, or excuse me, 4-1 in their last 5. They swept Howell North. And then beat Fort Zumwalt North. Then lost to St. Dominic, another good win for Dominic. Now they've beat Howell Central and Francis Borgia. Then they got a win, and we said they got the win last night coming back from a 3-0 deficit against Timberland. They got Timberland again tonight. Then they'll meet Fort Zumwalt South in a doubleheader on this Saturday, the 13th. That, my friends, will be something to watch. It'll be interesting to watch that Central South doubleheader. We've got some good baseball coming up over the next little bit. Troy Buchanan struggling here. Liberty Winsville, as we said, we're talking GAC right here, got the win against Zumwalt East. They just beat Parkway North, lost a tough one to Parkway West, 1-0, after getting swept by Zumwalt South last week in the GAC. So they're right there at 8-8. It'll be interesting to see how they continue. I think their pitching is going to be the key for them. And down here, Liberty North, they just kind of keep rolling. 13-4. Liberty North beat Kearney 4-1. Lee Summit North 6-5. Grain Valley. They lost to Grain Valley 4-1 and then come back and beat yesterday Central St. Joseph 9-0. So there you go. They got St. Thomas Aquinas from Overland Park, Kansas, and then they open up. Then they have a conference 3-game set with Blue Springs. So that's this week. That one will be interesting to see who comes out on top in that one. So that's kind of the look. And then number 1, Staley here. Let's see where they're at. They got 3 wins in a row, Rockhurst, Fort Osage, and beat Blue Springs 6-1. They got Lee Summit today, who is 11-5, and then they're rolling into the Columbia tournament. They have Rolla, Fort Zumwalt West, and Battle in the Columbia tournament, which is happening this week. Kevin Mulder will be down there. We'll be catching up with Kevin next week, get his thoughts on what he saw from the Columbia tournament. This is a dandy. I'm going to work to get stay up to date on who's where and what wins, losses. We'll be tweeting some stuff out. Tweeting, I said that. Posting some stuff out on Xing. Is that Xing now instead of tweeting? Are we Xing? Or are we just posting? We'll just call it posting. We'll post on X some information, what we know. Hopefully, we'll try and keep up with Kevin and see what's going on there. Keep up, maybe just share some of his posts from the weekend and whatnot. Look forward to that. But today, that will get it for this week's rankings update. Remember, Staley, Jackson, Fort Zumwalt West, our top 3, followed by Francis Howell, Liberty North, Rockbridge, Nixa, Eureka, and Blue Springs, rounds out our top 10 in Class 6. Class 5, Willard, Kearney, Fort Zumwalt South, Webb City, Summit, St. Francis, Borgia, Fort Zumwalt East, West Plains, and Festus round out our top 10 in Class 5. Class 4, Logan, Rogersville, Blair Oaks, Southern Boone, Father Tolton, Benton, Knob Noster, Fulton, Summit Christian, Central Park Hills, Nevada, Sullivan, Central Park Hills. Top 10. I kept going. Class 4. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Remember, if you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to get the YBM report that comes out every Monday, we recap a lot of stuff from the past week. Write to your email. Go to our website, youthbaseballmidwest.com. You'll see the subscribe. Put your email in. We'll get you on the list. We appreciate that very much. We hope you enjoy what we're doing. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Youth Baseball Midwest. On X, you can follow us at YBMcast, uppercase YBMcast _ I did that wrong. Follow us on X at YBM, all uppercase _ all lowercase cast. There it is. That's too difficult. I shouldn't have made it so hard. Oh, man. But we appreciate it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, our great folks over at Prime Sports Midwest, if you're looking for some sporting goods, I'm sure we already had that clip in there. But if you're looking for some sporting goods, we're looking forward to having the mobile store when we're out at Game 7 tournaments. So if you need a bat or something, if you're shopping, whatnot, hopefully maybe we even have some demo stuff. We'll see. I don't know what Rick's got for us just yet, but we're going to have some fun doing it. Thanks for joining us today. Hit the subscribe, hit the dinger next to it, because that's what we do. As Kevin here, he's got his helmet on. He's ready to hit some dingers. That'll get you all your notifications for upcoming episodes such as this to inform you about what's going on in youth baseball. Until next time, folks, have a great day in the Lord. Always remember, you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. Hitters, hit them where they ain't. Have a great day in the Lord. We'll see y'all next time.